Hello and welcome to Community Chats. I'm your host, Aley Hammer, and today we're joined with Julia, the co-founder and CCO of Great Wrap. Julia, thank you so much for joining us today. Can you start by telling our audience a little bit about Great Wrap?
Yeah, thanks for having me. So Great Wrap is a company that I co-founded with my husband, Geordie, and I. We make home compostable stretch wrap from food waste. So we started the business about 3 years ago. I was working in architecture and Geordie was making wine, and we were just seeing an incredible amount of plastic waste in our jobs. Like, I would choose the most beautiful, sustainable timber and it would show up on site, but it would still be wrapped in all of this horrible petroleum-based plastic. So we saw this huge problem and we knew the technology existed, but we just sort of couldn't find a product that we could use ourselves. So we decided to start Great Wrap. That was 3 years ago. Now we've got a solar powered factory on the Mornington Peninsula in Victoria. We've got a rapidly growing team, and we're continuing to sort of research ways in which we can improve our processes so that we can take food waste and convert it into a biopolymer that we can then use to eventually put an end to petroleum-based plastics. So we've started with cling wrap, and we're looking to move into your pillow packaging and trays that you'll see, like pretty much anything you'll see on the shelf will eventually be made by us.
Wow, that is so cool. And I love that your factory is solar powered and that you have this massive vision to completely rid the world of plastic. It's incredible. Your company is amazing. So Julia, there is a lot of packaging out there, in terms that are thrown around, but how do we know as a consumer if, the packaging is good or bad per se?
Totally. It's a great question and a bit of a learning curve that we've been on ourselves as well since we started. So there's a lot of confusion, I think, between the terms biodegradable and home compostable. And I think the important one to know is, so basically when something says it's biodegradable, it's still made from an oil-based product. The only difference is an organic additive is sort of mixed into the mixture. And what that does is it means that when the product is exposed to sunlight and water and things like that, it'll break down faster, but it still breaks down into tiny microplastics, which I'm sure we've all heard about by now. So home compostable, which is what Great Wrap is, it actually means that the product itself breaks down into carbon and water and biomass in an anaerobic environment. So even if it goes to landfill, it'll still break down into carbon and water, leaving no nasties behind. So I think if you're looking for a product, it's really, really important that you look for a home compostable one.
Yeah, that makes sense. But why are compostable materials the future of packaging?
Look, I think they're the future of packaging because in a lot of instances, obviously we promote replacing plastic with reusable containers and things like that. But unfortunately, in some instances like freight, there isn't a reusable alternative. So really, without completely reinventing the way we ship things across the world, plastic would still exist if there wasn't an alternative like that, for example. So we just thought if we could keep using a product the way we do, but reinvent it so it's able to sort of disappear at the end of its life, we thought that was a great solution. I think the work that we're doing is really the future of packaging too, because we're actually working really directly with Monash University, and we are going to have a product very soon that's marine degradable as well. So if a little bit of Great Wrap blows off the back of a truck and ends up in the ocean, which we hope it won't, it'll break down there as well. So we really think this is the future, just because it means that, there's no more plastic in our oceans, in our tummies. We're not using petroleum as a base. Using food waste is also an incredibly great opportunity to be capitalizing on because we've got so much of it at the moment.
Yeah, I totally agree. And, consumers are definitely becoming a lot more conscious about the environment. So I feel like personally, the companies who, don't change and step up to it all will simply be left behind. So Julia, if I walk into a supermarket in 10 years' time, or if I were to look at a landfill, what would it be that I would be seeing?
Yeah, so I think in 10 years' time, you'll walk into a supermarket and you will see what might look to you like a very similar site that you see now, but every product that's wrapped in plastic or comes in a little safe food pouch is actually made from a polymer that we've made at Great Wrap that's made from food waste, and that will break down in water. So I think if you then walked out of the supermarket and crossed the road over to the landfill, you'd see something that was hopefully a lot smaller than what it is now. I think it's really exciting. We're really, really looking forward to a future where petroleum plastic doesn't exist. And so what that means is there just won't be the amount of waste that we've seen. You know, every piece of plastic that was made since the 60s still exists somewhere in a landfill, and we just really want to mitigate that problem.
Julia, first of all, thank you so much for coming on the show today. But secondly, thank you so much for creating this incredible product, for selling it on the Amazon platform, and honestly for talking to us today. The work that you're doing is so incredible, and I really hope in 10 years' time we do see exactly what you've talked about. So thank you so much for joining me today. And if anyone has any questions about the product, please pop your questions in the comment section below and we'll get back to you. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Aley. Thank you.